But what we're going to concentrate on tonight is 400 years of the African American history in St. Augustine. So you're going to be able to, through a series of personal encounters and graphics, you're going to be able to experience what the African Americans experienced when they came to St. Augustine and what occurred for over 400 years.
I'd like to start by saying tonight is a special night. The Castillo that you're in tonight is not the Castillo that you may see every day as you visit St. Augustine. But tonight, this Castillo is a silent witness to the history that is St. Augustine, to the triumphs of the multicultural town we've become, the tapestry, the great melting pot that really is reflective of our country. But it also is that same silent witness to the hardships that have happened in St. Augustine, whether it be the arrival of slaves here after a long, horrible trip along the Middle Passage. It's a place that has seen wonderful advancements, but also the terrible divide that often separates our country in the 60s, with the strong actions of the St. Augustine Four, with Martin Luther King, with Dr. Robert Haley. And tonight is an opportunity for us to reflect on those things. We're celebrating our 450th year at St. Augustine, and maybe celebrate's not the word, but more of a commemoration of all of the stories that made this town what it is today. Tonight is really about a reflection of the past so we can decide what's for the future.
This 17-year-old, he had a sign that said peace and love. And when he got close to them, he hit him across the face, and blood went everywhere, and that beautiful sign bent, and there, it went down to the ground.
Because the Underground Railroad went south before it went north, and people don't understand that slaves escaped to Florida before they were escaping north, and that actually started in the 1600s. People really don't understand that. But what happened in the time that we talk about mostly is in the 1730s, 40s, because what happened was that the Spanish kind of word filtered up that if you got to Spanish Florida, you could be free. There were two requirements. If you were a gentleman, you had to join the militia, and everybody had to become a Catholic. It was a tough journey because the only way you could go is with the clothes on your back, because if they saw anything that looked like it might be a survival package or kit, they would know and they would stop you.
Let me ask a question. In this event of the Castillo by Candlelight, what do your characters represent?
Well, mine is a very simple one. I'm just basically a sargento as part of the troops that are stationed here in St. Augustine. Is the concern that people may have when they watch this is whether or not there's any kind of differences in regards to race relations. But for this time period, in the middle of the 18th century, as far as Spain was concerned, there was none whatsoever. As a matter of fact, James portrays Capitan Menendez, and he was of very high esteem. I was just mentioning it to him, to the fact that his freedom, as soon as it was gained, it shocked and made ripples all across Florida and the Carolinas, which was the most important because the Carolinians, or the British stationed in the Carolinas, were very fearful to the fact that learning of the freedom of Capitan Menendez was basically authorization to say that all of the slaves had a chance to break off of their chains in the Carolinas into freedom if they chose to move to Florida or seek refuge here, which was already established here.
All right.
And who are you portraying?
I am portraying Captain Francisco Menendez, leader of the Black Militia at Fort Jose, and I would say that none of this would have been possible without the Edict of 1693, because it stated plainly, if you should be enslaved, regardless of color, enslaved on an English plantation. If you could make it to Spanish territory, they would grant you freedom, providing you became Catholic and offered some service to your community.